Hello, welcome back to another episode of Sparky's Tech Corner. Today, we have a DIY kit to put together. Now, what this is a DIY soldering iron. And no joke to the pun, you need a soldering iron to put this together. Strange, yes, I know, but I'll explain here in just a minute. Now, this is a kit that I bought offline, and it is commonly referred to as the Hakko T12 soldering iron. Now, let's be clear. This is a knockoff of Hakko. Hakko normally run you about, I'd say $300 cheapest. This kit, at the time I bought it, was about 27 bucks. And that's everything right here. I spent a little bit more and got a 24 volt DC power supply. It's a 5mm jack, 5.5mm jack, because this fan is at optimum output at 24 volts, 3 amps, and that's what this is. It is a 3 amp, 24 volt AC to DC charger adapter. And I'll leave links in the description below for both of these items. Both on eBay. Now, this kit comes from China. And one of the unfortunate things about this kit too, there are no assembly instructions. So, you have to go online and look. But I'm going to go through and show you a little bit of how this is supposed to be set up. The heat element for this soldering iron, I'll grab my other one. Is just a pull-out style internal ceramic heater tip, and each individual tip has its own heater, which makes switching out soldering iron tips very simple and very easy, especially if you get one that's not working. You don't have to go through to everything apart and do a bunch of work to it. This kit comes with a shell, an AC plug-in. I'm not going to be utilizing the AC plug-in because in the future I'll probably design and build a pretty steady power supply for this one to power this, but as of right now I'm not. I'm fairly for sure this adapter's got to work. It comes with a jack, so you can run it off of either or. So I'm just going to simply put this in there as a plug. Not exactly for sure what you would call this, but it's a W200D. And if I can find specs for this, I'll go over it here in a bit once I get that pulled up on my computer. And it uses a basic little logic board. It's actually a really simple, complex design. You would almost think that this thing can't do anything, but we're gonna put it to the test after I put it together. It comes with its own soldering iron handle, which I don't understand the design of this. It calls for putting this little vibration capacitor, diode. I said I'll explain to you in just a minute once I get this pulled up on my computer. But it calls for this being soldered into the actual handle circuit board. And the circuit board goes into the handle. And let's see, where did I... There we go. And basically, the soldering iron fits right into it, holds it, you get to go to races. However, I really do not like this soldering iron handle. I did buy, in hopes of retrofitting this to my current soldering station, which was, sad to say, unsuccessful. But I bought a actual Hakko soldering iron handle, and I will find where I bought this at, and I'll put this also down in the description below. But this is actually really simple, and this is simple for anyone to do, and this is what I'm going to attempt to do. This circuit board for the handle requires 5 wires to be hooked into this. This soldering iron requires 3 wires. The only points you're contacting on this style of soldering iron is this point here, which is the positive, this point here, which is the negative, and this point here, which basically is just used as a ground. Well, we only got these 3 points. Why do we need 5 wires? Well, they put this little component in the handle. And what's required is this component gets ran in a series on up to the circuit board from the controller back down to the controller. And I'm sitting there like, why is it doing that? I don't understand this. Why should it have to run up to the controller and back down? Why can't I just add 2 wires to this, heat shrink this component up, lay inside the case somewhere, and attach it to the back of the control unit where it goes into the ports? If I could do that, then technically I should be able to use other Hakko, like the micro pencil. I should be able to use the micro pencil that they got for the soldering stations with this unit. I might even be able to use the soldering gun. I don't know yet. But this is a first trial basis of seeing if it can be done. Now, why am I doing this? Well, as you know, I do a lot of soldering on this channel, and I do a lot of rework on motherboards and DIY components and repairs, all that good stuff. I have been using a cheap 853D soldering iron station. And again, I'll post this down in the description as well of what soldering station I use. Now, it's commonly referred to as a soldering rework station because it has 4 basic features on this that can be used. One is a soldering iron. Second, if I can get this around here, it's a hot air station. Third, it is a variable 15 volt 1 amp power supply, and it's also a 15 volt 1 amp voltmeter. And I bought it for about 60 bucks, and it's worked very good. Unfortunately, I came up this situation. The heater element on this, and I'll try to zoom in. The heater element on this is starting to go out. I have used this on very, very high settings, and I'm afraid I have just shredded the heater unit. It's not getting as hot as I need it, and doesn't keep the temperature up on it. So instead of actually going through and replacing the heater, I'm just trying to see if I can find another suitable hot solder rework station. And I think this is it. I wanted something cheap, and I wanted something good. I like these style soldering tips, but I don't want to pay the $300 price for the soldering station that uses them. So this has got to be a trial run of one, if I can get this thing set up to use a Hakko soldering iron handle. Two, if I can get this component here, this W200D, soldered on the back of this instead of going through the actual handle. Three, a replacement for my station. And four, it's a cheap DIY project anyone can do. My old station uses these little tips, which this is a brand new one. I have not used it yet. And they're really hard to come by at times, and they're really hard to buy too. I bought this 3 months ago, and I just got it in the mail a week ago. So, let's go ahead. I'm going to go over to the computer and let's look up some of the schematics of how this is wired up, or the schematic that they made for this to help you wire this thing up, and see if we can't find any information out on this little component here, because apparently this is what makes this whole unit work the way it's supposed to. Now, after I've been back here at the computer and I've done some research on this little component here, which from everything I've been reading, I have not been sure about this one component. I was correct, it was a vibration switch, but not what I thought it was. This happens to be a horizontal position switch. Now, in certain aspects of what I've seen online, it can be considered a vibration switch. It's primarily used by hobbyists and stuff like that. So, my plan of putting this inside the voltmeter, in the soldering station is not going to work. Instead, I think what I'm going to do is this. When I go through and solder the Hakko handle onto the actual connector, I'm going to jump inside the connector the points I need to jump to. So, with knowing what the component is, you'll see in just a second why I was having a difficult time figuring what's what. It is all in Japanese and Chinese. So, all that I see is SW, 2 negatives, Earth, and power on the actual main circuit board. And on the actual handle itself, you can see what everything's supposed to go on it. Now, I understand why they have the horizontal switch on this. It's to tell the machine to turn the iron off whenever you're not in the solder position. Unfortunately, I think that's gotta be a nuisance for me, especially with this Hakko handle. So, I'm gonna go with my second plan of just jumping a negative with the SW. And both those negatives on that switch both connect to each other behind the circuit board, so it doesn't matter which one I use. So down at 7 o'clock on that circuit board, I'm just going to jump it right there, and that should allow the whole thing to work. And then we have our regular 3-amp power of and our negative. So, I did find a second diagram of this. It's a little bit better. But basically states the same thing, and again, it's in Japanese/Chinese. I don't know which one it is exactly. I don't know Japanese or Chinese, so if you're Japanese and Chinese and know what it is, I offend you because I called it wrong. I'm sorry. But I'm looking at it as like 1981 on that. I wonder if that's a year date or a model number date. I am not for sure. I hope it won't be a year date. But anyways, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get back to the bench now. And we're gonna go ahead and start assembling this thing. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut to a fast forward with music. So like in all my other videos, enjoy the music, and I hope you like this assembly process. And we'll get back with final comments and commentary on this when we're done. And that pretty much includes this build of the T12 DIY kit soldering iron. Now, I got some pluses and some negatives about this kit. It was relatively simple to put together, but the component quality is cheap. I mean, really cheap. So, later on down the road, I'll probably change some things around for this. I said in the back it does have room to put a AC power plug in it, but I don't have the circuitry to make the converter, but it's capable of it. The 24 volt 3 amp power supply I bought fits perfectly in the plug, and it powers it on. I had some issues beforehand. I thought I had the ground wire in the right spot on this power end. I didn't, so it wasn't turning on, and after some doing some tests on it, I figured out the issue. I did reconnect the off ground on it, which I think just goes through the ground itself. I haven't yet soldered with it, but I can confirm it does turn on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on, let this get up to 200 degrees centigrade, and I'm going to check it with my thermal camera, and I'll take a picture of it with the camera and I'll post it on the screen. Let's go ahead and turn this on and turn this light off. As you can see, 200 degrees. Tip is hot. Switch this over to okay, let's see. Right now it's showing about, on this about 120 20. Let's go ahead and turn this up a little bit. Okay, increasing it up to about 300. That's about 200. Although the tip's not getting very hot. I'll go ahead and take a picture of this. So I'm gonna do some more mess around on this and see what I can figure out. I do know there's a burn-in period that has to be done on this, so I'm gonna leave this on and let it do a burn-on period. And probably my next soldering project I'll be using this, and I'll let you guys know if I recommend it or not. So thanks for watching to the end of the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you.